up now. Come on, stop me. Come on, you coming up.
Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is that time once again. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I hope you're on here. Tag, share, get some folks on here. The Hop series is on for our weekly show. We are very excited about being on here, sharing another female entrepreneur and all the phenomenal things that she is doing in this world, in the community. But can I just say something? Every time the intro music plays, I listen to it a little bit more, and something keeps sticking out to me. And this is like for week two, is
Okay.
the glow part, the glow. And so I keep thinking, wow, you know what? I could do something with that. We want to glow and shine in everything that we do. We don't want to walk around and have like this negative energy, this cloud over us, and we just look like, oh, woe is me, and the world is dead to us. But we want to glow. We want to show our true, authentic self. So that encouraged me to like, glow, girl, glow, girl. So I do that every day. That has been really sticking out to me these past couple of weeks. But I'm April Anderson. If you don't know, you should know by now. I've been on here long enough. And then my beautiful, beautiful host that's on there with me is Morgan Harvey. Hey, Morgan.
Hi, talk about a glow. You got a glow today there.
I don't know.
You.
You know what? This glow comes from internal. It's not from anybody or anything. It's just I am genuinely in a good place in my life. I really am. I
Good,
really
good,
am.
good.
So I guess it just shows every day.
It
Okay.
is. Look, I am here for it. Okay.
Just wait till the man come along. I'm gonna really be
Look, I don't know. Can that smile get
all
bigger?
it's
We
going
go
to
here.
be
My
all
cheeks hurt.
good. Right. Like, oh my cheeks, I'm just smiling too much. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm happy with just me right now and what I have going on in my life. So, how was your day? I know you had a lot going on, a lot of things kind of try to stress you out with not taking care of these moms like they're supposed to, these healthcare providers, but how
Yes.
you doing it otherwise?
Yeah. Aside from that, I can't really complain too much. Business is moving, and my next baby boom is about to hit. So, I'm getting myself, ready for that. I don't know, maybe I need to start talking to them now. Like, hey, you guys can come any other days except for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Like, no baby's allowed to be born on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, hold it. Not Tuesday, not Wednesday. But we know babies have a mind of their own. They come when they get ready, and we just have to deal with it.
Exactly. So then
Deal
I'll
with
be like, so now I'm going to talk about timing.
it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good
So
luck
I
with
mean,
that one.
exactly. I was like,
Good
well,
luck with
thankfully there are some ways, at least for me, to be able to gauge where exactly labor is, how it's
that.
progressing, so that, especially if we are heading somewhere other than home, that we pretty much get there while we're 100% in active labor. And, we don't have to spend but such a little time before, we're ready to push and be done. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But
Hey,
yes.
y'all are the experts. Handle that. More power to you. I applaud you and salute you, y'all.
Thank you. Thank
Want
you.
no parts of that. So I'm good. Like I don't want to have any more. No, I'm good. So yeah, I've got my 4 and no more.
There
So,
you go. Exactly. I've got
yeah.
mine too. I have offered surrogacy, but that's as far as that'll go. That's as far as
I
that'll
don't even know with my way my body does, surrogacy ain't gonna work because I still, yeah, no, I'm good. But it's for bless those that can do it and are willing to do it.
go.
It takes a lot. I know for me, and this isn't our topic, but just to talk about that because I've thought a lot about surrogacy and how women do that. I know for me, I would get so attached, even knowing that the baby is not mine, genetically mine, but I would get so attached because I feel the baby moving and I talk to the baby, and you build that bond, and then to have it and then pass it off to someone else. Yeah, that I think that would send me off into some kind of depression. But so
So funny that you say that because, like, in my head, I feel like because I already know that that's what I'm doing,
mhm,
I still form a relationship, but
mhm,
it is a detached relationship in the sense of I know where you're going. So
mhm,
now those are the conversations that I'm having with the baby. Whereas normally, if this were yours, you'd be, I can't wait to meet you and I can't wait to
right.
see who you're going to grow up to be. This one is, probably more like, or at least this is how I feel like I would take it. It would be like, your mom and dad are super excited.
Oh
It's so
yeah.
nice. You know what I mean? So I feel like
Mhm.
mentally I would work on that. But in the comment sections that I've read, in a few and like reviews, I have seen a lot of women decide to actually get pets afterwards, and that's how they deal with
Oh,
it.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's like, so there's one lady,
interesting.
she's got like, I don't think she had any kids, but she was like a surrogate like 3 times. And so
Mhm.
she has like 3 dogs on top of dogs that she had already. So she has like 5 all
Oh,
together because she got a dog after every baby.
oh, wow. That's something. Hey,
Yeah.
Latoya, thank you for
Hello,
joining us
Latoya.
today and share so some other people can get on. So before we get started in our segment for tonight, I want to talk about on May 30th, we have our very first He Said, She Said segment. And we're going to have that pretty much, I think we have it lined up once a month so far.
Mhm.
Um, and where we want to have male and female panelists to come on, and we're going to discuss relationships and everything surrounding that from the male and the female perspective. And I'm excited. I already have a friend of mine who's going to be on for our very first segment, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so honored. Like, come on, really? So he has some really good information to share. He's a really great guy, and I can't wait. So for those that are watching, if you want to be on the panel, you message Morgan or message me. If you have some male friends, we want it to be male and female. And this is not going to be a male bashing or a female bashing. This is going to be us sharing our perspectives from both sides when it comes to relationships and what we think, because we may think one thing about a way a man feels and what they're thinking, and it's totally off. And they're going to come on to clarify that so we all will be able to, I won't say understand each other, but have a more well, maybe a better understanding or something along that line. So you would? All right. Well, then you will
Great.
need to inbox one of us. It doesn't matter who. We both all we connected. We cool like that. Um,
Yes.
and we will get you on. So we would love to have that. So share this out with your friends and about coming on, and that's May 30th. So you don't even have to stay on the whole time. You can come in and give your 2 cents, and then if you so desire to stay on, that'll be cool. So today, Morgan gave us a bomb topic. Like, she wrote this one. She did that. There's a blessing in the wait and the work. And this could actually be the topic for a phenomenal book. I might have to write that down.
Mhm.
No, I already have my 2 titles for my other 2 books. So, but there's a
Yeah,
blessing in the wait and the work. And huh?
you would just speak that.
Huh?
Okay, I receive it.
Oh, oh.
I receive it. I
And
literally, I
I wasn't
literally have
going
been
that
trying
direction.
to spin wheels for a title, and this is perfect. This is so perfect. Thank you, Lord. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
I'm gonna need you to take it and run with it.
I
He will
am. I
give you
am.
the confirmation that you need. Like, wait a minute. Well, oh, wow. Yes, he will do that. So I'm going to let you introduce our guest because you know her, and then we are going to bring her on. And oh, but before you do that, y'all see the QR code up in the corner. I'm going to need you to take your handy dandy cell phone and get your camera on, and I want you to scan that QR code and subscribe to the House of Peach. That way you will get notifications of posts, notifications when we are live. You'll find out more information about events that we are having. We have one coming up in September. Mo, I asked you about something. I'm gonna need you to get that information.
Yes. I thought
All
I
right, so
I
look
got
under the live button there and you will see the QR code, and please scan that and subscribe. That way you will have access to previous shows. You'll know when we're live, events, everything. You will want to be a part. You'll want to be connected. Now, on to tonight's show. Go ahead, Mo. Tell us all about our guest.
So, the funny thing is, I am not sure if
Mm,
100% if Dominic and I have actually ever met. I know that this is like a Facebook relationship over years. We have a lot of people in common, one of which I have actually met. Um, and that's her running buddy. She owns a boutique. So actually, that's another person that I know I would love to definitely have on the show as well. But I have just been watching her on
mhm.
Facebook for the longest
Okay.
and reading her posts, watching what she's doing, watching her hustle. It has been a really beautiful thing to see. It's nice to watch consistency. It's nice to watch someone who like she's been excited, especially about like this food truck. She's been excited for a while,
Mhm.
and but she kept it so hush. And so when
Mm.
I say I have learned a lot from her and just watching how she moves just on social media with everything that she's doing, like this is a woman who asks for help. This is a woman who gives help. You know what I mean? And at the same time, has multiple streams of income as well. And because when I saw the food truck, that of course, I lit up. I'm all about anything about food. I am like, yes, yes, yes. And I am probably one of the biggest supporters of people that are out here. Like I love to cheer people on. That's a part of just who I am. So
Mhm.
to see that, someone else is getting into the food business and actually can cook. Like this is not someone who's going to the shelves and pulling some stuff off, throwing it in a fryer on a grill, some,
Mhm.
store-bought stuff, some saucing on it and, handing it out. This is like actual cooking. There's actual skill that and time that takes into this. And I'm just super excited. She's got this beautiful, beautiful truck. Things have just started rolling, but then, like I said, she's got this other part of business. And when she just talks about how I guess her personal journey, and
Mhm.
then to also watch, like I said, the hustle in the business, that was something where I was like, I have to have her on. If nothing else, definitely to talk about the truck, but to really just be like, girl, share this story, share this
Mhm.
testimony, share how you have gotten to this place, because that's exactly what she talks about. She talks about how much time she's put into stuff. You know what I mean? Having to wait and then looking back and seeing
Mm.
now the progress in the time and being able to say, but God. And
Right.
that's why I'm just like, I'm just super excited to, have her on with us today.
Right. And then people, they'll see the end result, but they don't know the work and everything that it took to get to that point. So you see the
Exactly.
glamorous end, and it's like, oh my God, she has this food truck and she's doing this, and it's great and everything's going, but you don't know all the blood, sweat, and tears. You don't know the nights that she cried, and then the moments she said, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore. So that piece is even more, in my opinion, even more important than the final product. The final product we all gonna cheer about, but cheer
Right.
for the process because the
Absolutely. And the
process is
fact
where
that
you're made.
exactly. And the fact that she's
Mhm.
vulnerable enough to be able to share that, because a lot of people just see the glitz and the glamour of entrepreneurship or owning
Mhm.
something that, you know what I mean? But they,
Right.
like you said, they don't know the days that you're like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. or
Mhm.
just somebody else do it, or just give up. I mean, that definitely was me the other day. Like, you know what? I'm gonna just be regular. Like, this is not for me. I'm over here I'm playing. Okay. And then I wiped my eyes and was like, I'm just joking because I really can't.
Yeah, right. I've had
I
a
know
moment.
what I'm called to do. So, all right, now that I'm hit
Yeah,
behind the pity party, pull my
right.
big girl pants back on and let's go. Like,
Right. We
so,
we all have moments. We all have moments like, why am I even doing this? What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
absolutely.
So, hey Katrina, I see you on here. Welcome. So glad you're on here. Please share this and tag other people to get on. All right. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to bring Dominic on. I want to hear this story. I'm ready to hear. Hey,
Hi
Dominic.
guys. Hey
Hi, how are you?
everybody. How are you ladies?
We are great. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and just drop some nuggets, share some wisdom, give us your story, everything. I don't even know where to start. Let's
Look, hold on. I was listening to Morgan. I'm like, so Morgan, I do want to start with we actually did meet.
We did. Okay.
We met at the pop-up shop in Newark
Okay.
when you had your paparazzi. And that's kind of, I feel like, how we all began, following each other and everything. And it's ever since then, honestly, I can say Morgan has definitely been one of my supporters. She'll inbox me and be like, hey girl, I got this idea. Like, and that doesn't come often from people that you
Mm.
barely know. So I do want
Yes.
to say I appreciate that. And I'm excited. So
Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, we did. Listen, I was not sure because I'm like,
you
I
had a
know
baby at the time. You had just maybe had your son,
that.
right?
Okay. So then that makes perfect sense. Why I don't
Yeah,
even
you had
remember.
mom brain.
Absolutely.
Fresh mom
Absolutely.
brain. Yep.
Listen, all I know is like I said, there has been an impression, and being able to, watch you grow and watch you make moves has just been a complete blessing. So I thank
Thank
you.
you.
And, that's why I can honestly just, give freely and share freely what you're doing because, it's a reciprocal thing. So
Thank you.
I'm so excited. I'm
I
so,
know,
so
right?
excited.
I just said I wanted to
Let's
put
just
another pop-up shop together and get all the, we had all the
mm,
vendors and all the kids out there. I was like, I want to do that again. And now I got the food trucks. So I'm like, I'm pulling up with the food. So
Actually, I've got just the perfect event. It literally just came across my desk today. So we
okay.
shall talk.
Awesome.
oh, see there, networking already. I love it. I love it. And I'm sad I'm way over here in Texas and I can't even benefit.
That's all right. We're going to come to
I'm
Texas.
like,
That's a business expense, right?
women's
Right.
retreat.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Women's retreat. Did you hear that, April?
What did you say?
You said women's retreat.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Don't you start speaking stuff now.
Come
Let's
on,
not
hello. Dr. V, what class scene? We bringing mom in here. We bring hello, the whole show.
yo, they are
Mhm.
not ready for that kind of retreat. I'm talking mind-blowing retreat. Okay, we're gonna have to get off that because then my brain starts to turn in
Then
and
she's
you'll
gonna
be
be
like,
keep
April, come
taking
back.
notes.
I'm like, way over here, it's all planned out, the date and everything. No, let me stop.
Exactly. And I'll be in your inbox, Dominic, talk about when you free because we driving to Texas. Okay.
Look,
Right, right. So, Dominic, why don't we start off with you giving us a little bit about you, a little bit about your background, and then we're gonna get into all what you're involved in and what you're doing.
okay. So my name is Dominique. I have a couple different things. I honestly don't know where to start. I'll start on a slightly personal level. I have a 14-year-old son. Had him at a really young age. From there, I had dropped out of high school, went and got my bachelor's right after, and then my master's. So I've always had like the hustle in me, and my son was definitely a huge motivation in that. So now I currently own the food truck, Flavor Dish, hot pink truck. You definitely cannot miss it if you're around. And I'm also a real estate agent here in Delaware. So I just have a huge passion of serving the community, giving back to the community. For me, food is definitely something, my love language. I call it my love language because I love to see people eat. I love to see people happy. And for me, food makes me happy. So I assume that everybody loves food, which is most of the time true. So and that's what I do. I kind of like use my passion of food and serving people to help people find homes. And it just, every time I'm able to do that, and every time I'm able to, give somebody the keys to their very own house, it just kind of like, it just, it does something to me. So I know that's where I'm supposed to be. So yeah,
Wow. Wow. Servant's heart is what I keep hearing. You have a servant's heart. And to
definitely.
be able to do that, and that gives you joy. So it's like a double blessing that people get blessed with food and homes, and you get blessed seeing them happy. So
Right.
that's great. Wow. Okay. Hey, DC Kool-Aid and Lisa Production. Thank you for joining. um, so food truck and a realtor, like here, way over here, and way over here, nothing even really related.
Which is why, that's why I said when
Actually,
it popped up, I was like, what? And
but I think that's the crazy part for me. I think it's so relatable. Like, I think food and having a family and building that connection and building that bond and kind of being able to see families go into homes. Like I meet so many new people that maybe I wouldn't even have crossed paths with if I didn't
Mm,
serve them a meal.
mm,
And it's an easy way for me to connect with other people because like I said, they want to eat. And if they like the food, it kind of helps them remember who I am. And I kind of intertwine both. So I do believe it's connected. It is two different realms. Food truck is definitely on the go, on your feet, like 24/7. Real estate, it kind of goes 50/50. So,
but
but
I can see you selling a house to a couple or a family, and then you rolling up with your food truck, and they're having a housewarming party, and instead of having everything in their house, bam, there you are with
yep.
the food truck out there.
exactly.
I've actually given like I've given like families they've bought a house for me, and I'm like, okay, what meal do you want for the family? Dinner's on me. And I'll go make them. They
Wow.
want baked ziti, they want the cheesesteak egg rolls, and I'll literally just go ahead and just cook for them. So I haven't
Wow.
pulled up with the food truck yet because I just got that up and running a few months ago, but I have definitely, like, throughout the years in real estate, like, hey, what kind of meal do you want? And this, I use that as my way of, thanking them for, supporting me. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
God, you get to do the housewarming package, and
I
that's how
like the
that
idea of
goes.
the house. I like that though, pulling
That
up with the
sounds
truck.
good.
Absolutely, and people
I
love it. I
love
was
that
like,
idea.
so many people are looking for that right now. So
Yeah.
absolutely, it's like you said, it seems polar opposite, but at the end of the day, people are always going to need a place to live, and people are always going to need to eat. So technically, they do go together.
Yeah,
And
I
if
think.
I remember correctly, those two things are inclusive in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, having from shelter, and then you got to have food. So that works. You're like two off that pyramid. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Wow. So which one did you start first? Did you start real estate first? Because or when did you start?
So
So the cooking all started? How did that go?
real estate came first. I was actually still working my corporate job for a while, so I was doing that, and then of course real estate. My cooking actually all started probably like 4 years, like 4.5 years ago now. When like the crab platters were super popular and everybody was starting to make them, and I was like, you know what? I know I could do that. Like, my food is good. Let me do it, and I started, selling the platters. And it just became a consistent thing where people were like, wow, your food is really good. And then it was the cheesesteak egg rolls. I love cheesesteaks personally. So I was like, ooh, I want to try to make those. And honestly, I started making them and people were like raving about them. And it sounds crazy, but I don't personally eat my food. Of course, I test taste here and there to make sure it tastes good. So to see people genuinely like love my food, I was like, wow, maybe I need to go further with this. I need to figure out how I love doing it. I loved cooking for people. How can I make a living off of it and make it
Mm.
bigger than just the food? And that's kind of how I intertwine. Like, if you see my logo, my logo is me holding a dish, but I also have keys in my hand. So it's kind of
Mm.
like I can kind of take care of you on both ends.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So how
Yeah.
long when you thought about, okay, maybe I should do something with this cooking, how long was the process before you really got it up and running where it flowed?
So I started taking the food really, really serious during COVID. I had a lot more free time. Real estate was a little bit slower in that moment. So I took that time with my son being home and I just started cooking, promoting that I was starting a catering business. I found a kitchen that I could actually go in and cook in. So 2020, I started the food truck adventure in the beginning of 2022, end of 2021, maybe beginning of 2022. And I actually bought my very first truck then. And it was a journey. I mean, like, it was crazy. I mean, I did my research as much as possible. I was, took notes. I listened to YouTube videos, and that's just a business that you cannot fully prepare for until you're in that moment. And I'm not a mechanic. I didn't know much about the food trucks and what it required. And as I started getting into it, it took a whole year from then to now to get fully up and running. 3 food trucks later, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
So you definitely, for those that are listening, interested in food trucks,
Oh, yes. I can tell you all about it. It is.
Yeah, you got to put in the work, because it's not just going in there cooking. There's all the ins and outs and driving and all the mechanics, because it's still a vehicle. At the end of the day, you're cooking in there, but yeah, you got all these moving parts to it. That's beyond what I'm even. I'll come and buy your food truck, but I want no parts of that. No, thank you. That's too. It's too
And you
much.
just don't know until you know, and that's one of my favorite sayings now. You just don't know until you know, because it's not something you can you could look up on, the government websites and try to get like the health information, but nobody really wants to help you in this game. Like, it's a very figure it out yourself. I thank God I had a few mentors, but everybody's experience is different. I bought my food truck and I was like, oh, okay, I can build it from scratch and I could get it done, not realizing what it took to do that. And
wow.
Yeah. So I ended up buying another truck. That didn't work out. And then I was like, you know what? I should have just did it this way the first time. And I went and bought a brand new one. And that just saved me the headache. But it's just the process of learning what it takes to get there. So
right, because you have to go through all the inspections, not only for the mechanical workings of the food truck, but the sanitation. So like, they give the food grade. Do they do the same thing for you that they do for restaurants as well? Have to come in and inspect and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yep. So they come into your, mobile kitchen. They'll make sure you have running water, make sure everything is clean, make sure, all the fridge, freezer. And then you have to also have a commissary, which is where you store your dry and, wet goods and stuff. So that part was actually even complicated because it is such a popular industry right now. Food trucks, you have to find somebody that's going to take you. And not many places will. I got very blessed for where I found, and it worked out. I believe that God kind of just works it out, but there's always the struggle behind it. And you have to just accept the struggle for what it is, honestly.
Yeah. So the struggle makes you. It doesn't. It's not meant to break you. It will let you know if this is what you need to be doing or not. And if
are you built for it is the question.
Right. Exactly. Nobody that I read about just boom happened upon it and everything went great. There was a struggle, whether they shared it or not. There was a struggle that they had to go through. So wow, what an amazing story. I'm not gonna do like I did last time, Morgan, and I was so excited. I just was like talking. So I get excited because the stuff is so interesting. Like, I'm excited about our guests we have on the show. So it's like, oh, now let me ask you this, let me ask you that. And Morgan's like, hey, I'm sitting here.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I obviously like this is my thing. I've been doing food for like 20 years. So like, to talk to someone else who does food, just like the first time you and I were talking and it was like, oh, we actually technically were in the same field and we, had a lot to talk about, even from the medical end of things. You know what I mean? I too get excited. So I am totally fine. Totally fine. But I do have a question for you. What is your favorite part of both of your businesses, besides, like you said, being able to serve?
I would say I feel like I'm in my purpose when I'm doing that. I feel like I'm in my purpose when I'm out in the community, and I feel like I'm in my purpose when I'm able to kind of just connect with people. I think there's such a disconnect in the world overall, just because, you know, of our technology and the way the world's been for a few years, to be connected and see the difference. Because when I was working my corporate job, I was working from home and I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I felt like I was just like home all the time, and that's just not who I am. I like to, you know, be out and to see what's going on and seeing how I can make a difference. And honestly, yeah, just being out there, just kind of, I love the hustle. I love the grind. I love the, you know, real estate. You don't just get it. You don't just get clients for, you know, walking outside. You really have to put in that work. So
Right.
I love that part of it. I love being able to know that although I'm making a difference, I'm working for it as well. So
Absolutely. Well, it seems as though real estate has actually kind of prepared you also for the food industry, because the food industry is the same exact way.
oh
Like,
yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
everyone's got to eat, but literally to do client acquisition for any kind of, you know, food business, like you've got to be able to sell yourself and
Absolutely.
what you've got and the product, and be able to confidently stand behind it, you know, because most of the time it's like your product should sell itself. The house is going to sell itself.
Right.
But the majority of the time people are coming to you because of you.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you bringing to the table? You know what I mean? So can you talk a little bit about, like you said, you know, you had your son early, but you didn't allow that to be a reason why you didn't continue to move. But talk a little bit about like that, I guess that tenacity that, you know, was necessary to be able to get you, you know, to where you are now.
Okay, so I would say, honestly, it's funny because before I came on, I heard you ladies talking about how, like, you know, you have your moments and you just want to give up, and you don't know if you're going to make it another day. So there's been so many times, especially recently, because, you know, like I said, with the food truck, there's been so many challenges, and every day it's a challenge. Just building the team of what you need to work with. But just going back to when I had my son, I had him really young. I had him when I was 19. I didn't really come from much like before that. And I was always different. Like, even as a kid, I was always different. I didn't want to be like the other kids. I always was like, you know, really, really into like learning and like figuring out, you know, different things to do, different ways to help people, and even just different ways to like have perspective on the world. I just see so many people out here that are just like very like negative and very like push off. And I just believe that despite of what you've been through, you don't have to be that way. So when I had my son, I was like, okay, I know nobody can do it for me because they barely could do it for me, you know, as growing up in the environment. What am I going to do different to make sure that my son never has to go through that again? Like, what I want to make sure that when he is 18, he doesn't have to worry about, you know, having a job, although it would be nice, having a job, just having a stable environment, having a stable family, having a stable community, having support. So it just really pushed me. And I think the combination of having him and then my already determination to never go back to that anyway, it just pushed me. I was like, I'm going to do this. I went back and got my high school diploma. I did it online, and then I did my bachelor's. And then I was like, you know what? Why not just go for my master's? And to be honest, even though I don't use those degrees at all, pretty much, I mean, they were great to build the discipline behind like the educational part about it. I don't really use my degrees, but it's great to show my son that I am the first in the family to actually get a master's degree.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Congratulations.
So that
Yeah.
that keeps me going, and I try to keep him motivated just to
Mhm.
you don't want to depend on one income. You don't want to depend on somebody else's job. You need to have, even if you're not an entrepreneur, this is what I tell him, because he's a teenager, so he's like, Mom, I don't want to hear this. And I'm like, even if you don't become an entrepreneur, you need to learn how to make your own money, because at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself, and nobody's going to do it for you. You have to be your own motivation. You have to be your own determination, and have a positive outlook. You know, I heard you say, April, you know, just walking around with the glow. I talk to my son about this all the time, about how he stands, about how he walks, about how his appearance, because even though it might not be a big deal now, it builds your confidence within. So as you're walking outside, and you know, make sure you look good and make sure you smell good, and it attracts.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I teach him that, like, I use the word mediocre. I'm like, we are not mediocre. We do not walk around like we're average. Like that just no, that
That's not
doesn't
who
go
we
that way.
are. That's right.
No, yeah. We have to walk with a different level of confidence if we want to reach that next level. And I'm always preaching next level to him. And I think it's been a blessing to have him actually at a young age. Because he has been able to see from the very beginning to, like I said, where I was working 2 jobs, didn't even have my high school diploma, to now to where I own 2 businesses. And at one point we had the vending machine, so we got him involved in that, and just teaching him the lifestyle of the hustle. Like, I mean, the hustle isn't always a great thing because you do have to learn to relax.
Yeah.
But the hustle of just knowing what you want and going to get it. Period.
Yeah. Well, I could just see you in front of some teenagers, just really encouraging them and empowering them to think highly of themselves and carry themselves that way. Because when I look at a lot of teenagers, oh my goodness, it's so sad to me because they don't care about how they dress. They don't carry themselves, and it's not arrogance, it's confidence in who you are. And they don't carry themselves that way, you know. And I know that different ones, they're going through things and we don't know what their life is like, but still, you are that encourager and that supporter to say, hey, you are more than whatever your situation is. You carry yourself in that way. And your son may be like, Mom, I don't want to hear that right now. But when he gets in his 20s, he's going to recall this. And he's going to thank you for that because you planted that seed in him that he needed. And it's going to make him then carry himself in that way. So that's cool. Now, one thing that you said about doing what you're doing, you said that you feel like you are walking in your purpose. And that like just hit me because there's a lot of people around that are just doing things. And I feel like they're grasping at straws and they're not fulfilled in it. And you are actually fulfilled in the 2 things the 2 businesses that you have. So that's so key. And I like that you said that because when you feel that, then it doesn't feel like work. Like you're doing that you genuinely love. And it's not like, oh, I got to go do this today. I got to go try to sell these houses today. Let me go and try to promote my business. No, you do it because you love it. You feel like this is what I do. And I get joy from being able to turn those keys over to some clients, or I get joy seeing the expression on people's faces when they take that first bite of my food. And it's like, yep, that's why I do this right there. That
You put up a
right
reel
there.
recently that had me literally smiling, and it was so nice because it was just, you know, everyone's, you know, expressions just, you know, biting into something, and it was that face like that. I mean, that's what you do it for. If I didn't have to make money, that would be payment enough. That you know that you are, you know, walking in your purpose. So when did you fully, I guess, quit your corporate job and be 100% on your own, self-employed?
So it's been about a year and some change, maybe a year and a few months. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And honestly, so when we're talking about purpose, before I left and before I decided to make that jump, that's how I felt. I didn't feel like I would wake up every morning like, oh my God, I could not believe I gotta like log into this computer right now. Like it was becoming such a downer that I was like, it is not worth my mental health. I gotta find a way to supplement that. And I knew, kind of like you said, those are 2 things people can't live without. And for me, I'm like, that kind of built the security outside of, you know, God saying that he's always going to take care of me. That kind of built the extra net. Like, okay, I got to be able to sell one of them. Like, I got to be able to sell a house or somebody's going to be hungry. Like, it's not like you can live without those two things.
Right.
And it kind of helped me build that, I can't even think of the word, the braveness to just be like, you know what, I got to make the change. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I've been able to expand, like, even Flavor Dish. I do like the party rentals. So I rent like the cotton candy machines, snow cone machines, popcorn machines, the big games. And it's kind of just like exciting. Your day is never the same, ever. And I like that a part about it.
Yes, it's not like the corporate job, like, let me log in, let me do this,
Let me take my lunch break. Like, no, I make my own lunch break. And like, it's just such a whole different feeling to have control of what your destiny is.
Right.
Wow.
You have no ceiling. You can make whatever
Literally.
you want to make. You can work whenever you want to. If you decide you're not going into work today, then that's just fine.
Yeah. Yep.
And
That's
nobody's
right.
trying to make you feel bad about it either.
Right. Just like, wait a minute, this is my business. I did this, so I can take off if I want to. I'm trying to get my mother to that point. She owns a daycare center in Georgia, and she's not at that point. And I'm trying to get her there to where she says, "Oh, I'm not going in today because you have a full staff that can handle it."
Right.
There. After 20 years, she is still not there. Like, why are you there? Go home, relax, go get a massage, do something else, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So, wow, that is amazing. So, for those listening, if you are looking into entrepreneurship, no matter what it is, Dominic has given you some gems, some nuggets that she gave to you for free about putting in the work. Like, people pay to hear this kind of stuff. And you get it for free. But I applaud you for not allowing you having your son at such an early age to so put you in a track of where other girls your age would have gone and not done. You always wanted more, and you knew early on as a child that you were different. And those people, there's a set number of people that have different gifts, and their mind works differently. And some of them take that and run with it and become successful. And then there's some that just kind of succumb and give in to how society is or what society thinks they're supposed to do. But you push through, and your son's watching. I'm telling you, he is watching. He may not say it, and then again, he may, but he really, really is watching, because I know for me, my kids have said stuff to me about what they've seen me do and how they feel and all this and that. And I'm like, oh, you were paying attention? Like,
right.
So like, oh, okay, but they're adults now, so I get it.
Yeah.
But wow.
And you're going to see the fruits of your labor, especially in him. You know what I mean? Not only in just your business flourishing, but being able to really sit back and be like, that's my son.
Yes.
Like, you're going to really be able to feel like, all of the tears that you did put in, those extra nights and that extra push and the Lord, I don't even know why I'm here type of feelings. Like, to be able to see who he is going to become and to be able to watch him walk in his purpose. Like, I'm like just so excited for you in that. Like,
yeah. I'm like super, and it's funny you say that, because this is our first summer with the food truck. And I'm really, really excited to see that, at first he was like, Mom, I don't want to go to the food truck. Like, I don't want to help you. I want to stay home. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't, you don't have time in the moment to kind of, to force them. So I was like, okay, go. But recently I've already started to see the difference in like his work, ethics. He's like, okay, Mom, do you need help with anything? Is there anything I can do for you? And then, when we have like the bigger events, he'll be like, do you want me to come? I'll come serve. We did our very first house like event. We just did like, they just wanted hot dogs, burgers, basic stuff. But by the end of it, he was running the truck by himself, flipping the burgers, dropping the fries. And I was like, oh, I get to take a break? Like,
yes!
I can tell you, like, not even, the truck's been open since February, not even 2 months ago. He would have been like, Mom, I'm not doing that. Like, You're gonna have to pay somebody else. Like,
I love it.
so it's growing, and I'm super excited to see the first summer, like where he'll actually grow into the business, because yeah, it's my business, but I'm doing it for him. Like I want him to be able to eventually run that if he wanted to by himself, and
Right.
build his team of people. So
I
yeah,
love it for
awesome.
And then
you.
then you were talking about taking a break, and if you don't want to go in, so then he'll get a chance to see, okay, we work hard, we play hard. So we work hard, and then you two get to do some fun stuff. So it won't be like, oh my God, we got to do this truck again. He
Right.
realizes that there's a reward in working hard, because you don't want to just do all the work and then not enjoy and still
Exactly.
enjoy your life. So that is going to really help him, like, okay, we're going to work hard, we're going to do this, and then we're going over here and we're going to have a good time. So
Absolutely.
I'm proud of him. I don't even know him. I'm proud of him already. You
You
tell
tell
him
him,
that
yes.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is
Absolutely.
so cool. So what would you say would be the most difficult part of entrepreneurship?
Um, there's just daily struggles I mean, especially in the food business, the daily struggles of being, the preparation is for me. I'm consistent, but preparing, I'm not. I'm a very fast worker. I'm a very fast person, so I'm always on the go. And sometimes I miss important steps that I have to go back and reflect on and hurry up and change it immediately. I can say since I've been full-time entrepreneur, it's been a little bit easier. But when we're talking about the hardest thing for me, data entry, because I sat on the computer so many years, that's the last thing I want to do. I want to be outside. Like I want to be outside. And that would probably be my personal biggest struggle. I would just say the biggest struggle overall as an entrepreneur is just keeping the motivation, even on the hardest days. There's been days on this food truck where I was like, especially before I bought the brand new one, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I should just wait. And then as soon as I would say that, that's when the brand new truck popped up, and it was like, it's go hard or go home. And I was like, I'm going hard. And that's just what happened. So
Wow. Well, I'm glad you didn't give up, because now you see the reward of just pushing through even when you want to. So your
yeah.
hate for data entry is like my hate for grading assignments. Like I'll teach all day long. I'll teach every class,
Yeah.
but I don't want to grade not one assignment. So every time I start a class, I tell the students, listen, I am not the fastest with grading. Your grades will not be done the next day. You submit assignments, it may be 2 weeks or 2 months before I grade it, because I hate grading, but I
Yeah.
will teach all day, every day. So you got to try to find that balance. Like, okay, I'm sit here. All right, I got to put this in. So you sit there like, okay, I got to enter this stuff in here. This is my money. So yeah. Well,
It's so funny that you say that, because that's actually the part that I hate as well. And
Yeah.
so I thought that I was doing myself a service by getting a manager. And I was like, oh, hey, you can do this part because I don't like to do it. Well, I picked the person who hears what you don't like to do and then makes you do it. So guess who's been doing all of the paper?
Oh
So
wow.
I was good. Look, I started to say, you know what? Eventually, and I definitely pray that if nothing else, this summer season puts you in a place to be able to get someone else to do that for you, so you can literally just focus on this. But be more specific in that prayer that person is gonna do that.
They're like, I'm gonna teach you.
Exactly. I mean, to be 100% honest, it is teaching me, and just like you said, so it's nice to see. It's a lot of similarities there, because I am very fast with a lot of things as well, and sometimes I will miss certain steps, or she'll be the one in my ear like, Morgan, pause. Go back like 3 steps. You have to do this first before you get over here. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, can you just do this so that I can just be? I'm just trying to be over here. Like,
And I
That's
think
what I
that
want.
actually is like a personal thing for me too, because I actually I thought I wanted to do everything. I'm like, okay, I could do this, I could do the marketing, I could do this, I could do that, I could cook, but now that the actual food truck is up and running, there
Right.
is no possible way. And I would say that's probably, it's not a struggle, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to find a team that actually wants and can envision your business the same way you envision it. And maybe
Mm.
they'll never see it exactly that way. And this is probably where I'm praying that my son can kind of catch on and like be that second person, because he's old enough. He's 14, about to be 15. I'm teaching him. And I was just actually in another women's summit last week, and the lady said, she was like, throughout my entire business from the beginning to the end, my kids have been watching me. I've taken them everywhere, taken them, she's an actress. She was like, I've taken them behind sets. I've taken them, everywhere you can imagine, so that they were exposed. And now my children are running my business completely. And that
Wow.
kind of stuck with me, because I was like, wow, maybe if what I'm doing works, that could be the answer.
Yeah.
But until then, I do definitely need like a team. It's a challenge to build that quickly, because my business is growing quickly. So it's like,
Mm.
and it's my baby. I'm protecting it. And I gotta learn to open up and trust somebody else with that part of it. So
Yeah, that's probably the most difficult because you built that from ground up and you put the hard work in, and one wrong person can be like, whoa, and they'll come in and I won't say unravel, some can if you allow it, but they can kind of come in and bring a little bit of a difference that you don't want in there.
mhm.
So you are actively looking for team members.
Yes.
Right. Well, then you need to let us know, let everybody know how they can, where you're located, how they can reach out and apply, and what you have available that you're looking for. Because I know it's somebody looking for a job, and you may be the answer to their prayer.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so it is based on events. Right now I'm booked 2 events every day, every Saturday in June, and then different events throughout the months of the summer. That of course is our busiest time of year. I would say you could reach me on Facebook or Instagram, or even I can give out my number if you want to like give it out later. But I would say I'm looking for like cashiers, prep, especially servers during different events. So I could send that information over to you ladies to kind of pass out for anybody that's interested.
Yep.
Send that
Well,
over. Yeah, definitely. Send that over. And listen, if I got a day and I ain't got nothing to do, I will surely hit you
Please,
and be like, what
yeah.
you need. Listen, prep is not beneath me. I do whatever. You can ask a lot of people. It is what
Prep
it is.
is the best part, because that's what makes the whole thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, and that's my place to just zone out. Like, to
Yep.
be 100% honest, I just go in, do what you need to do, and keep it pushing. So
Yep.
yeah, I was like, you can count me in as well as far as helping me.
well, even if you are looking for employment and you need something, then you need to reach out to Dominique and check her out and see what she has available and if it works for you. And you never know, if you're interested in starting a food truck, let her carry you under her wing and teach you and train you and mentor you. Look at that. Just partnering up already. Y'all check her out. So, oh my goodness, I am very excited about what you're doing. So, I want to ask you about real estate because I've seen a lot of people now trying to get into that. And
Mhm.
it kind of scares me because I know there's an exam you have to take. And I don't know, what is the education piece of it in order to get to that part?
So depending on what state you're in, there's a certain amount of hours that have to be completed. I believe it's been a few years since I took it. I can't remember how many hours for Delaware. I want to say it's 120. But yes, it is a very hard test that you have to take afterwards. I think what actually has extended the opportunity of more people becoming real estate agents is now that they offer it online. A lot of it
Mhm.
can be completed online. But that exam is no joke at all. So
Mm. How did you build your clientele? Because you take the courses and you take the exam, you pass it, and it's like, oh, now I'm a licensed real estate. Now what? Are you on your own? Are you with a group? Or how do you go about building that? Because that seems like it would be hard.
So I actually started with my sphere of influence, of course. So the people that were directly next to me, like I told my dad, my stepmom, um, everybody that I was working with at the time when I was at my job, and just kind of just letting it be known that I was a real estate agent. Um,
Mm.
and it took about 4 months to get my very first client. And it was just so crazy how it happened because it just came from, I was at work and a girl came up to me. She was like, "Aren't you a real estate agent?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was my very first client. And just from there, it kind of started to take off. I've
Mm.
used social media, of course, where I promoted that I was doing real estate. And just getting out there, networking, meeting new people. I started doing those pop-up shops where I would bring like small businesses together. They would sell their product or service, and it just kind of built connections throughout the years that it's really taken off. I still have connection with probably at least 90% of the vendors that I've ever had at my events. So
Wow. That is something.
yeah.
Selling houses, yeah, no. Buying houses, yep, me. I'm looking forward to being able to do that at some point in time. Wow. What kind of advice can you give someone as far as um, going in, looking into real estate, or with it being as difficult as it is, and entrepreneurship in general, but really in the real estate part, because you have to sell yourself.
Mhm.
And I remember Morgan, one time we were talking and we had our show and you were saying that people they're coming and buying you, not so much as, they
Mhm.
want your product or your service, but you're selling yourself and if they are sold on you personally, then of course they're going to support what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
Mhm.
how would you tell them, what type of personality would a person need to have as far as going into real estate or even with the food industry?
I would just say being yourself.
Mhm.
For me, I don't put on a facade. I don't change who I am. I'm a very thorough person, and I like to be empathetic with who I'm connected with. I have I have a strong desire to kind of understand people, and I can kind of read people to a certain extent. So I use that to my advantage, and I keep myself authentic, but I adjust to what their needs are, especially when it comes
Mm.
down to a real estate transaction. Because that's a big transaction. That's probably going to be the biggest thing you ever purchase in your life, and I try to be that, that personal. I want to be personal with you. I don't want to feel like it is a transaction. I want it to feel like I'm here to help you. What is your goal? What can I do to help you reach your goal? And then support them through that process.
Mhm.
Um, so the character, just being somebody that's reliable, trustworthy, um, consistent, determined, and just continue to be consistent with yourself of who you
Mhm.
actually are. And if you're not that person, then you should work on those characteristics just overall in life. I feel like just being that type of character is what we need because of the fact that so many people get lost in thinking that the negative is the way to walk in a day-to-day life. And I don't think.
Yeah, that consistency is really important because, like you said, you took the exam and passed, and it was 4 months before you got your first client. And some people in 4 months, they be on to something else, like spend all this money to go through
Mhm.
this program and take this exam. And because you didn't get a client off the bat, like right when the ink was dry on the sword, then you're like, oh no, this isn't for me. But you got to put in the work. You got to just do your due diligence, and you did that, like telling everybody about what you were doing.
Exactly.
I
Well,
was
and you
sending
see how.
text messages.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was sending text messages. I was in people's DMs and their messengers. Just consistently posting different posts about, the steps of buying a house, the steps of selling a house, you know, just giving information and giving the knowledge. That's another thing. You want to be knowledgeable. And that's just in anything, you know, you get what you put in. So if you put in a little bit of work, you're going to get a little bit of results. And as I'm getting more and more into the entrepreneurship and just kind of building my client base off of the food, it's putting in the work. That's really the answer to anything that you want, is putting in the work and just knowing that eventually, I mean, if you're, you know, you believe in God, you know that God doesn't give you something and not give it in return. So you know that you're going to get what you put out. So, and it's going to multiply.
Absolutely. He gives in multiplication and not division.
Okay? Absolutely. And even in the time where it seems like you're waiting, because I really just want to highlight the fact that you were still working in that 4-month time. So that it seemed like there wasn't anything coming, but you didn't just sit on your hands and be like, oh, okay, or expect someone to then be able to hand you clients. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, now that you've got your, you know, your license, here you go. And now they hand you a roster full of people. That would be nice, but no, that's not really
right.
Exactly. That's how it works. So even in that time of silence, or like you were saying, even when you started the food, because real estate was a little slower, you were still doing work.
Yeah.
In a time that there was some silence, or there was some space and some time, so that now that can be able to, you know, take fruition. And it's not that real estate has to take a back seat, because has it taken a back seat since you've opened up the truck?
Not at all.
You're running them then simultaneously. If you're not on the truck, then you're over here selling houses, right?
Yep.
So I was like, at the same time, I commend you for that consistency and really being like, okay, you know what? Fine. Just because it's a little slow right now, or because I can't do this, what else can I do? And then really put the work in to be able to do it. I'm really proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
And I try to keep it aligned, you know, like for a while, real estate, I'm not going to lie, I did take a backseat. Last year when I was trying to get it up and running, my full focus was on the food truck, just because I was so determined to get it up and running. I wanted it done. Like, that was the only thing I could think about. And it just was because I knew the potential and what it could bring, not only to me, because I loved cooking and I knew the opportunity that, you know, the expansion of what the food business is right now, but also like what could I use it to build my real estate business? So not only was I investing to build another business, I was using it to actually invest in my real estate business, to kind of get around different people. I mean, when I tell you there's people that I probably would have never met, there's so many people that I've met that I'm like, wow, like it gives me a different perspective on life, because, you know, you typically surround yourself around similar people. You know, you might meet new people here and there, but you don't get around completely different people. And it's been great. I love it. I love that part about it. So
yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
I love your energy, because I can hear your passion for what you're doing, and that is amazing. Because some people they look at entrepreneurship or anything as I'm going in it just to make the money. Yes, that's a part of it, but what are you servicing? Like, who are you servicing? What is your real purpose? Like, you want to see people get the keys to homes, you want to see them eat and eat well. So that purpose, yes, the money is going to come with that, because when you make people happy, then of course the money is coming, because they're going to come back. I mean, if you give them a great meal, they're going to come back again and again, and they're going to do some free advertising, because they're going to tell somebody else, like, oh my God, here, taste a little bit of this. Where'd you get that? And before you know it, here's 10 more people new that you not fed, and it just multiplies. So, you know, having that drive and that determination and not giving up is very important, because you can just look at it like, well, maybe did I hear this? Did I miss the mark? Like, did I mess up? No, you just got to keep going. That's what you have to do.
Absolutely. As Clastine was saying last week too, even when you were like, well, yeah, real estate did take a back seat for a minute, one thing that she really spoke to last week was when people are for you and you're doing what you're supposed to do, it doesn't matter. So notice how it even taking a backseat last year for you to be able to spring forward with the truck has not hurt your business at all. There's still people that are coming, and there will still be people coming because of what you're doing. You know what I mean? So just because something has to take, especially when it comes to multiple streams of income, you can't do it all. And something is going to have to take a back seat for a minute. And sometimes if it's just the you that's doing that service, then the whole thing gets, pushed to the side. Right now, I mean, yes, I still sell paparazzi jewelry, but that is not in my forefront. It's not really on my timeline. But those people who know I sell it, they hit me up, they walk through my door and they say, hey, I need blah, blah, blah. So, you know what I mean? I was like, that doesn't have to, it doesn't mean it has to be a lose or that, it goes away. So yeah, don't feel bad if something has to, take a seat, take a back seat for a minute, or even if it's like, okay, you know what, for a minute, because it's now slow season for the food truck, that, there's a little less attention to that, even if it's like, you know what, I'm not necessarily throwing out the catering as much, but now I am using this time to really go full force because the timing is better for real estate. To be able to do that as well. Because at the end of the day, those food people are still going to come.
Absolutely.
They're still going to come. So I just see definitely just tons and tons of business, tons and tons of blessing and opportunity coming your way. You just continue to be who you are. It was definitely a pleasure. Like I could say for real now that like to actually I did these two, but to still be connected, at this place. It's definitely a blessing.
I appreciate you.
And I would say too, even in the downtime or the little slower season, that's your time to go back through your format and how you do things and see what needs to be tweaked, because sometimes we get so busy and things are going so well that we don't pay attention to our plan to see if there's something that we can do, remove this and add this, that'll give it that extra piece to it. So even in those slower seasons or slower times, it's still a win because it could be revamp time or rework or tweak, whatever term you want to use for it, but that'll give you the opportunity to do so. So yeah.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah,
self-care is not selfish. One thing I had to learn, and this is definitely another challenge as being an entrepreneur and just having multiple businesses that I do pretty much run by myself, you have to take care of yourself. And one thing I had to learn was, because I'm always on the go, I'm always thinking about my business, I'm thinking about what has to be done, taking care of my son. I got 2 huskies, like they're kids in themselves. Like I'm always busy worried about everybody else, that like I never really like thought about the self-care, or I would neglect the self-care. And not self-care like not take care of myself and like not shower, but self-care like I used to feel guilty for like wanting to like lay in bed for like an extra hour. I'd be like, no, I need to be up by 5 o'clock every day. Like this is what I have to do to get the work done. And now I'm like, oh, I want to sleep till 9 o'clock. That's just what it is. And it has helped my mental, because now I'm able to be more productive when I'm in the space of creating different meals or helping my real estate clients and different things like that. So it helps disperse the energy where it really needs to go, without overworking myself. So that's one last thing I wanted to say, because a lot of people get caught up in the business part of it, but if you don't take care of yourself, your business will not be going for very long. It will burn you out, especially in the food business, especially in the real estate world. That's two positions that you're always needed, especially real estate. People will call you at 12 o'clock at night if they feel like their deal's about to fall through. And you have to be mentally prepared for that. So if you don't take care of yourself in between the opportunity to do that, it will take a toll. So
wow. That's important. And that's very key, because some people, they cannot handle that part and they don't take care of themselves, and then they crumble, and they could have really been successful at it had they had this information to be able to do that. Wow. That's important. Mo, That's important. Actually, you do self-care. You do. I need you to do just
Yes.
a
I need to do more. Yes. Yes. I have definitely been slacking in that area. But I was gonna say it's hard when you add entrepreneurship to the already motherhood.
yeah.
Like that's a lot, like you said. And then for you, like that's why I chuckled a little bit when you said the two huskies, because my girlfriend has a couple of dogs, and it's the same exact thing. Like when I'm over there and I don't have my kids, her dogs are literally like other children running around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when you think that you left kids home, they're still present. So I struggled for a minute, like, yeah, that's a lot. And to be able to juggle it all, and to then say, guess what? I'm not trying to be nobody strong, nothing. I'm just trying to be myself. Like I want to get to a place where I can allow myself to be soft. I can allow myself to relax. I can allow myself to, as you were saying for your mom, take some time off now because it is set. There's going to be a time, Dominique, like when that your business is going to be set. And now you can be like, yo, all right, every quarter I am going away for 2 weeks.
Yes, I can't wait.
It don't matter what it is, where you going, whatever, that is taken care of, and you're good to go. And you can be swiping however you like to while you're there. You know what I mean? Not worried about, well, is this bill and this bill? No, because you have, put certain things, in motion. So, yes, that self-care is definitely important. I will do better.
Yes, you will do better. I will be your accountability partner.
Okay.
You on today? All right. What's the schedule like? Oh, so that means you have 2 hours to do what now? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna need you to do that.
Exactly. If nothing else, I've got to get back to my day off. I don't know if you have done this yet, but I have felt a difference since I stopped doing it. I gave myself a day off, period. I don't care what day it is. That's not a day for me. That's a day for me to do nothing. I'm not doing emails. I'm not doing invoices. I'm not talking about business. I'm not doing anything. If I want to sit outside and hug a tree all day long, that's my business. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Actually, there's a lot of benefits to hugging trees. I read this whole amazing article, so maybe that might be a topic too. But for real, find a day. Find a day. And it, obviously make it make sense for the business, you know what I mean? For either business, but find that day and let that just be a day for you. Because let's be real. If you had to go to a doctor's appointment, how are you going to do that? Sometimes you can't do that on a Saturday. Sometimes you can't do that on a Sunday. So it needs to be in between a Monday through a Friday too. So that if you need to do something or certain things, like let's say you have to go to the business bureau, you can't do that on a weekend, and you have to be there at a certain time in order to try to get things done. So if nothing else, I was like, that's also, my advice for you in that self-care department. If you haven't already, one of those Monday to Friday days, find that as a day off.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't have a day, but I definitely have been sleeping, and I've been forcing myself to sleep in. That's been a blessing for me, because I've been so used to waking up early for so long. I'm like,
right.
Oh my God, it just feels so good. Now, if it gets a little too late, then I'm like, all right, no, it done took my whole day. But my brain doesn't stop. But to feel like, okay, I'm not turning my alarm on today. I'm going to just wake up when I want to is
lovely.
I don't got a whole day yet, but I definitely appreciate those moments. And I can't wait till I can get a whole day, because Lord knows I need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we carve those things out, and eventually, yes, we will get there.
Yeah.
Just starting out, I get it. And I get it. You know what I mean? So yes, we take the small wins, and that being able to not set the alarm clock. Yeah. Take that.
I took that.
But
definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've come to the end of another show, and I've been trying not to go here. Morgan, I did this last week, and I'm like, God, no, really?
I heard you.
I'm trying. I did not. This is not how I like to end shows and do that, because it's like, oh, this is what we're gonna do today. But I do want to give you this, Dominique, and this is not coming from me. I just want you to know that. But because of your love for people and seeing them obtain what they want and their happiness, and that makes you happy because of your service and your sheer humility. Your blessing, your businesses will be blessed beyond what you could ever imagine. Just do not ever lose that, because that's what God is seeing. And He honors that because you're doing it that way. And so continue on. He's going to open up some opportunities for you that are going to blow your mind. And you will think back to this show today and say, she said that. And when it
Mhm.
happens, just reach out to me and let me know. But it's going to happen. Just remain as you are, that same energy, that same servitude, humility, and joy that you get from seeing people obtain what they want, whether it's a new home or selling their home or eating good food or you trying a new dish and they love it. Whatever it is, you have that servant's heart and He's going to reward you for that. And I just had to give
Thank
that to you.
you. I received
And
that.
Mo,
Amen.
you
Amen.
included
Amen.
in this too,
Amen.
because yeah, he said something about you too. He said, I kept hearing him say, I'm going to relieve the pressure. I'm going to relieve the pressure. And whatever it is that you need, ask him and he will give it to you. But that's what I kept hearing. I'm going to relieve the pressure. And I'm leaving it at that.
I
Okay,
receive it.
I'm done.
I
I'm done.
receive it. I receive it.
Those that know me know that I'm like not want to do. Yeah, okay. So that's what I want to say about that today. Thank you so much, Dominique, for being on here.
Thank
There's a
you.
blessing in the wait and the work. She put in the work. She waited her time. She didn't sit around. She still found what her hands could do and did that. And now the results are here. Y'all can check her out. And where in Delaware are you?
I
All
am
over
in
the place.
Wilmington, Delaware.
She's in Wilmington, Delaware, and she's hiring. So if you are looking for employment or you are in that area, you need to reach out to her on Facebook and wherever else. I'm sure she has all her contact information on there. So if you're looking, and if you're a dedicated worker, now don't go in there and you want to stay for a
Exactly.
few weeks and then you bouncing. We need longevity. We want those that have a heart for helping. And once you meet her, I've never met her, but once you meet her, I have a feeling that you're going to want to push the vision that she has and what she wants to do. And it's going to make your life so much better. So much better. So thank you for joining us on
Yes.
today. Yeah, I'm really thinking about that youth summit thing. You really would be a great speaker for a youth summit. You really would. So go ahead and put that together there, Mo. You down there in Delaware, put that together.
I
What?
surely will be, because that is literally like right in the works.
Yeah.
Oh wow. There you go. There you go. All right. I didn't say this much during the show, but there is a QR code somewhere. And I want you to take a picture of that QR code. There it is. Subscribe to the House of Peach. That way you can keep up with when we are on live and events that we have. There are so many things going on. And if you know female entrepreneurs, we want to interview them. We have space. I mean, we're almost to the end of the year booked up, but we still have some slots open. We want to hear about your businesses and what you're doing, how you are impacting the community like Dominique is doing, sharing those nuggets. She gave us some good nuggets on today, and I'm going to take that and know that I'm on the right track with what I'm doing with myself personally and business-wise. It's the consistency. So be with us again on next week, next Tuesday. Let's see, what is that? The 23rd, right? Okay, I'll still be here because I start my travel run next week. So I'll be in Chicago next week, and then after that I'll be in Costa Rica, and then after that I will be in Dubai. Oh my goodness. Can you...
Really? Oh my goodness. Listen, I am flying to Texas so you can put me in your suitcase.
Right, to fold you up in
Yes.
there.
Actually, no, wait. We're gonna
Down.
drive the truck, so that's a business expense. We're gonna get some money while we down there, and then we're gonna put ourselves in her suitcase and we're going to Dubai.
You know what? I have been afforded some opportunities, and this Dubai trip just kind of fell in my lap. And I'm getting an award. And then I just found out last week that I'm going to be on this panel of discussion and I was like, wait a minute, what? So it just keeps getting more and more like, wow. Oh,
Yeah, God is making
yeah.
room, April. That is so exciting. Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank
congratulations.
you. So I kind of, I'm still in shock. So now I have to do my research. Like, okay, I already know it's going to be hotter than fire there. So I got to make sure I plan for that. But yeah, I'm excited. It's like 3 days. There, actually, I'm going to be there like 5 days. I'm going to be there. So this is going to be cool. So, hey.
Well, we will definitely chat during the week about that. Like, holy smokes, holy smokes.
Yeah.
So you said you're going to be in Chicago next week?
I am. So I will be at the Surgical Technology Conference in Chicago.
Okay.
I'll be there for like 4 or 5 days. And then I come back and then I go right back out. I'll get back on a plane and leave. And then my son graduates from high school on June 15th. Yay! So yeah, so then I'll fly into New Jersey for that, and then from New Jersey on to Dubai. Like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah, my cousins are like, you need a chaperone? Like, I'll go with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But next week we have Danielle Davenport.
Yeah.
I actually met her in high school. So she is a high school friend of mine, turned a really, really, really close friend. She is a blogger. She has a blog called One Spent Mom. And it really is just the ins and outs of motherhood, some humor, some tears, a really safe space to kind of just be who you are in your mom space, and know that you are loved, that you're heard, that you're seen, you are able to get advice. It's just a very amazing environment. And so, I'm so excited to have her on so that she can just be able to talk about motherhood and everything else that goes along with it. That's why we said, and the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So next week, make sure you invite and share. We want to expand our reach. We already have a pretty great reach, but there's more room for expansion, and we want that. We are representing the House of Peach. We are here to empower, encourage, and uplift you and help push you to your next level. And we want to, even if it's in entrepreneurship, even if your personal life, in your family, whatever it is, we want to show there's some phenomenal women that are doing some awesome things, some amazing things in their community, in the world, and they have some serious nuggets to share. And we want to have them right here on this show. So, Dominic, thank you again so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you share. We appreciate it. So, y'all, until next week, we will see you right here. However you joined us, we're going to be right back here on the same platform. Thank y'all. See you next week.
Glow, glow, glow.